The year is 260. The northern part of the world is in flame. Recent advancements in technology have allowed for superior armor and weapons, and the peoples of Ceria can now see war. As the cold winter settles in across Ceria, new and old lords rally their forces. Emperors sit ready to deal, and many people fear that the coming war on the horizon may never leave. The Emperor of the Principality of Ceria wishes to reunify the Empire. To do so, he'll need to take over the Phrygian Empire, as well as its smaller cousin to the north, and his sibling across the sea. Defeating the Phrygian Empire is no small task, but Emperor Quintus Amor is a very ambitious man. If it isn't he sitting upon the throne, it will be his grandson. However, to the east, the Empress of the Lonumian Empire has goals of her own. Before her lay a massive expanse of lands that once belonged to her. To retake these lands, it will require bloodshed, but Empress Marina Barra is no stranger to blood. Decitus I of Androssoria is now faced with a massive threat. The Empress of Launumia now seems to wish to reclaim the lands that he fought so hard for. The lands that he took from her father a decade ago. In truth, Decitus killed her father during that previous civil war, and if he wishes to keep the land that he killed the king for, he needs to prepare for war. On top of all these things, Harius Durio, claimant to the throne through right of conquest, doesn't wish to allow the Empire to continue their slaving ways. If he has a say, all men shall be free. Winter, 260. Emperor Quintus Amor follows the intelligent thing to do. To secure one's independence, they need an army. He begins training for a unit of Hastati, and sends 3 Hastati with General Placidus to their western border to prevent a war with Phrygian. Harius Durio finds his nation rocked by a massive earthquake, learning they've lost some of their winter stores. He sends one of his closer generals, Aquila, to the western borders to scout along the edges. With him, he takes all of his standard footmen to search for suitable raiding spots, to see if there may be any slave depots on the border to liberate. Harius personally goes with General Daimonos, along with his Praetorian cohort, to search the eastern part of the borders. They hope to meet in the middle. King Decitus I is faced with the same problem as Harius, and he calls his generals to meet with him. Orion, Copreus, Crichton, and Athos. Athos is sent to find food to replace what was lost, and Orion is sent to check on the citizens of the kingdom to ensure their happiness. Emperor Constantine Titus Abacus of Plorinium considers the opinions on slavery to his neighbors. Uncertain from those closest to him, he does know, however, that to the north and south are slavers. His own opinion is that slavery is immoral. He sends one of his generals, General Phemus, with a light force of Hastati to scout out the southern border of his newly defined empire, to search for slave camps and to ascertain defenses. Emperor Abacus himself takes his Praetorian cohort and sails to Mornoidia. He seeks an alliance with the newly freed slaves. The year 260, summer. Summer brings a monsoon season this year, and massive floods affect the peoples of Ceria. Many lives are lost. Emperor Quintus Amor learns that he has lost his personal guards, as they died in the flooding while trying to help civilians. Placidus sends word to the capital that he and his men live, and that a light border force is the only thing preventing them from invading Phrygian themselves. Quintus considers this, and sends the newest trainees to the west to join Placidus, and formally declares war on the Phrygian Empire. He offers aid to villages in the area to try and get any to turncoat in order to help him. There are sparse reports of soldiers turning to help Ceria, but for the most part the men of the Empire remain loyal. 2 groups of Hastati are in the region, so Sajan forces heavily outnumber the forces of the Empire. It's a small battle, only 800 men to 400 men, but it decides the opening moves of the war. Placidus leads his men across the border. Harius Durio learns that a foreign leader has arrived to speak with him, and that 2 units of Astati guard the Phrygian border. Unfortunately, his 70 cavalry, the only cavalry he had, were lost in the flooding. Therius sends Aquila to train a unit of Triarii, and Daimonos to train a unit of Astati. Harius goes to speak with this foreign emissary, learning it is Emperor Titus Abacus of Plurinium. Titus Abacus reveals he feels similar to Harius about slavery, and that this revolt has given him hope. He has a large goal, that being to eventually take over the Phrygian Empire and make it a land of freedom. All men equal, none judged wrongly under the gods. No one man should walk a path alone. The 2 men talk well into the night, each having virtues as to why they should lead the Phrygian Empire. They agree that an alliance is beneficial to them both, and that Titus Abacus wishes to see how well Harius performs as a warrior. They continue their discussions, with both men seeming to respect the other, though they remain wary. They don't begin an alliance just yet, but they do leave on good terms. Harius leaves the capital, saying he has a war to win, and travels to join his men in preparation of declaring war on the much larger Phrygian Empire. The Emperor of Plurinium is to be treated well, and the quartermaster of the royal garrison gives him a bottle of wine. King Decidus is faced with an issue. His silver shields, Sasian guards who swapped sides during the war with Plurinium, have died, and his generals are torn. The people of Androsoria are scared and worried. They see war just outside their borders, as Launumia now has a larger army than them. As unrest rises, 2 of his generals, Orion and Aetos, come to speak with the king. They suggest war. His other 2 generals are a bit later, but suggest isolation, that they should wall themselves off from the outside and just try to mind their own business. Decidus errs on the side of caution, sending Aetos to gather recruits to try and train up some archers for any upcoming conflict. He sends his other general, Orion, to find him a wife. Emperor Titus safely returns to his home, as the seas are typically calmer during the summer. He learns of the flooding and the loss of life, but that there are 4 enemy units on the southern border. Phoemus and his men survived. Emperor Abacus's other general, Caeso, is requested to train some archer auxilia to prepare for an invasion of Ovioboria. He sends Phoemus to ensure that the people are okay. As usual, today's music has been provided by Adrian von Ziegler with the relaxing Roman unit Aetas Romana. It's good. It's some good music. I hope that you guys enjoy this music as much as I do. I hope that I've been louder than the music for the duration of this episode, as I would very much like that. Maybe if I turn up my mic a little bit here. Oh, okay, maybe that's a little too loud. Let's turn that a little bit down. That's good. I think I'm loud enough. I'll see you guys next time.